Hello, everybody. It's Sunil Tulsiani, founder of Private Investment Club. And today I have the honor and privilege to interview one of the top business entrepreneurs on the planet. I mean, this gentleman, as soon as all I have to say his name, you know who he is. I mean, he is the co-creator of Chicken Soup for the Soul. He's also the author of the Success Principle book. I mean, it's one of my favorite books. And of course, I'm so privileged actually to have him as part of the Private Investment Club. He's a member of Private Investment Club. He's a great friend, somebody I love and respect very much. It is none other than Mr. Jack Canfield. Jack, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for inviting me. You know, we're good buddies. We support each other, and I'm here to help any way I can.
Thank you very much for being here, Jack. I really appreciate that. One of the reasons why we're doing this, or main reason that I'm doing this, these expert interviews, is actually during these times we want to give back. We want to help people around the planet and give them some expert insights as well as hope. And if there are some tough times they're going through right now, people are going through right now, are there things that they can do to advance their life, advance their business, to lessen the fear, for example? And that's why we're doing it, to help people. So let's start with this. Let's start with you. If in case some people are living under the rock and they don't know who Jack Canfield is, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, as most people know, I'm the founder of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. We sold 500 million books in 47 languages around the world. I'm an entrepreneur. I have my Canfield training group. I have 12 employees. We do, multiple millions of dollars of business every year. We have trainers that I've trained now in 107 countries, over 35 certified Canfield trainers. And, I was in a movie, The Secret, and
Yes.
on the New York Times bestseller list 47 times, I believe.
Wow.
And, so I think I've earned the right to talk about what it is we do.
Sounds good. And I've been privileged to have you on my stages several times in Toronto. We shared stages together. We got a lot of people who are in your trainer program as well. And so we have you. So let's get right into it. This coronavirus. Tell me, give us your feedback on coronavirus.
Well, we all know it's out there. It's making a lot of people sick. Some people not so much. Some people don't even have symptoms. I think I saw another quote from a Canadian astronaut. He said, "We didn't go out into space with our fingers crossed. We knew the facts, so you know what's really going on." So far, the statistics worldwide are only about 1% of people actually die from this. Statistics are a little higher in Italy because it's an older population and people smoke more and they eat too much pasta, and there's a lot of reasons why that happens. But the point being that for most of us sitting here right now, we're all fine. We're in our homes, we're sequestered, we're sheltered in place. We've got some food in the pantry and some food in the refrigerator. We're not sick. There may be a few people we know that are, but the reality is we're all going to get through this. One of the advantages of being 75 years old is I've lived through the Vietnam War, the Civil Rights Movement, 3 recessions, 9/11, a lot of other things. And we always come back. Some people are worried about the stock market. Stock market has always rebounded. How fast it will do that, we don't know. But, I would advise against panic selling, panic buying, all the panic stuff that people do. There are going to be some possibilities for people as real estate becomes perhaps cheaper. Some people are going to be, it's going to be more available perhaps because some people will in fact die. There will be some people that will decide to downsize their lifestyle based after this. They may decide to move. So there will be some opportunities there. But I think right now we should be thinking more in terms of service than in terms of, capitalizing on those things. We are getting the most specific information. I just watched Bill Gates last night, who had predicted a pandemic like this in 2015 and predicted that we wouldn't be prepared. And unfortunately, maybe they'll take this one to wake us up to prepare for the next one. But the point being that he said, we're probably all going to be in our homes for about 10 weeks. So get used to the fact. And then the question is, what can we do to keep our businesses alive, to keep our brands alive, to keep cash flow moving if possible, to stay sane, to not go into panic, to keep our vibration high. We can talk about the importance of that. As your vibration is high and you're in love and joy and positive expectation, you take your energy out of the amygdala, which is in the back of your brain, and bring it up into your prefrontal cortex, which is where our rational thinking occurs, where our creativity occurs. And we all need to be really creative right now. You know, there's a lot of people that are pivoting quickly. We can talk about some of those models for people that are watching this. But I think the main thing is to realize what is so, what's probably going to be our reality for a while. You know, I teach this model E plus R equals O, event plus response equals outcome. So we have an event called the coronavirus. We have an event called we're mostly sequestered at home, unless you're in a certain critical profession. And now our response in terms of the thoughts we think, the emotions we create by the thoughts we think and the stories we tell ourselves, and our behavior is going to create the outcomes that we're experiencing right now. We're either calm, we're in service, or we're panicking. But those outcomes are us creating it with our mind. And then what are the outcomes we're going to be experiencing when we come out of this? Is your business going to still be viable? Are you going to have money? Are you going to have clients? Are people going to love you more instead of less? And is your business going to take off? So basically, I think it's just an event that we have to respond to. The event's not creating our life. It's our response to the event that's creating it. And so we can delve deeper into all of that if you'd like.
Sure. So tell us. So I'm sitting here. I have a lot of people calling me and saying, "Look, they're basically fearful of coronavirus, what's going to happen, the unknown, and their businesses. Some people have lost their jobs. Some people are worried about markets. So let's comment on those. If you could comment on market, business, anything like that.
Bottom out, you know, as we kind of get a sense of that and it starts to go back up again, you want to make sure that you have some opportunity to buy things at the lowest price. There are some people that are day trading, that are buying stuff when it's low, and then when the market bounces back up, they sell it. So if you want to play that game, there's a lot of people that can teach you how to do that. You can go
Sure.
online and learn how to do that. But I think the main thing is not to freak out. You know, as I said, being 75, I've lived through all of these things that have happened where the markets have gone down. You know, where the first Gulf War, it went down, the 9/11, it went down, 2009, it went down, you know, and so forth. But it's come back. It came back as high as it's ever been until we saw the coronavirus. And even when it dropped, after a few days, it came back up again. So we're going to see this kind of bounce. Now, there's something called the dead cat bounce, which you have to be careful of, which is sometimes even if you drop a dead cat, it will bounce.
Yeah.
It's still dead, you know. So you want to like just educate yourself. There's a lot of people online right now giving out good information. I'm not the expert on the market, but what I do know is from, you know, having been an investor for years, is that I just hold on to stuff and it seems to work out really, really well. I remember when everyone said, oh, the market will never go to 10,000. Well, it did. Market will never go to 20,000. It did. We'll go to 29. It did. You know, and so if you held on to that, you tripled your money, you know, in those, you know, 30 years or whatever it's been since those numbers were the reality. As far as businesses go,
Yes.
you know, here's the deal. The day that this ends and we're all out there walking around again, everyone's going to need the same things they needed before. They're going to need homes. They're going to need food. They're going to need restaurants. They're going to need people to consult with. They're going to need, and there's going to be as much of that as there ever was. There's not going to be, all these houses are not going to fall down because of coronavirus. Neither are the TV shows, the theaters, you know, everything's going to be there again. The way I like to hold this, Sunil, is we're in the middle of a pause. This is different than 2009. This is different when the market crashed. What we have now is, imagine you're watching a video you're watching a movie, and we're watching The Crown at night, at least one episode every night. Every once in a while, I get an urge for a snack or my wife needs to go to bed. We pause it. We hit the pause button. When we come back and we hit the play button again, it starts exactly where it was. And so basically the story's still there. The movie's still there. All the opportunity's still there. There's no less food on the planet than there was 10 days ago. You know, it might not be in the stores at the same level, but the distribution systems are working. They're going to keep working. There's going to be enough toilet paper if everyone just quits buying 30 rolls at a time. So the reality is there's no less money available in the world. There's just as many dollar bills and cents and digits in the computers and all of that. You know, it's not distributing right now, and both your government and my government are figuring out how to do that. I heard the Canadian government just said to small business owners, we're going to pay 70% of the salaries of your small businesses. You can borrow up to $40,000. I don't know if it's interest free or not, but there's lots of available money to keep most businesses alive. And
Yes.
so, like, not to panic. The governments know that they've got to keep this moving. It's different than a bank crash or something like that. Same thing in America. A $2 trillion package was just passed. And so I would just say, take a deep breath, chill out, keep yourself calm. What I'm teaching people are the 4 M's. Number one, meditate. At least once a day, meditate for at least 5 or 10 minutes. Breathe in for 6 counts, breathe out for 6 counts. Just, whenever people panic, we say, hey man, slow down, take a breath.
Yes.
So literally taking a breath will calm you down. The second M is movement. When you're moving, you're in the present moment. You're not freaking out. You're playing the piano, you're dancing, you're doing your aerobics, my wife has been doing about 3 hours of yoga and Pilates and aerobics. There's all these free people putting on free classes right now. And you think you can buy things online from places like Beachbody, 10 minutes in the morning with, Tony Horton and things like that. When you're moving, 2 things are happening. You're raising your temperature, so you're less likely to get you may get the coronavirus, but you're less likely to be affected by it as much because your immune system is going to be high. Anything that heats your body will raise your immune system. If you can get into an infrared sauna or a steam bath or get into your shower and turn it up really high or get into the bathtub with as hot as you can stand it and then maybe do deep, fast breaths like the Kundalini yoga breaths, what happens is you'll get the sweat. Sweating kills. Why does our body create a fever when we get the flu? Because the flu virus can't survive in that heat. That's why they say when the summer comes, you're less likely to have the pandemic because of the heat. Now, the other thing is, the third M is called mastery. Do anything you're good at. When you're doing, like, again, playing the piano, playing ping pong, consulting with people like you do, you're good at that. You're totally engaged in the present moment. And I know you're still available to do consulting with people, and I'm sure you're probably doing that. Most people I know are. You're doing it by Zoom call or Zoom, Skype or telephone, whatever. And the fourth M is meaningful communication. Stay in touch with people. Don't let your mom sit alone somewhere. Don't let your kids be alone, in another state. Connect with people.
Yes.
If you do those 4 M's, you're likely to stay in the present moment. You're going to stay healthy. And I would just say one more thing without becoming a doctor here. There are tons of supplements that are antiviral, things like mushrooms and things. Go and explore that online. Just look up antiviral natural cures, antiviral things like that will raise your immune system so that if you should contract it, you'll be one of those people like Tom Hanks who said, yeah, I had a headache, I had a little bit of the blahs, but I'm over it now. And so that's the main thing. And if you keep yourself in a positive market, your services in an economy like this, where you can deliver your classes by Zoom call. If you don't know how to do that, you need to figure out how to do that really quickly. Mm-hmm. There's Skype classes, there's online things like where when this is over, people go, oh my God, I love Sunil. He brought experts to me. He helped me out. He advised me during this period of time. He showed me how to not let my properties go, bankrupt, whatever. So that you can do that in every industry. I just heard about a company up in Vancouver where everyone's sequestered just like we are. And what they're doing is they're going online and saying, they have some of their customer base, they have an internet, they have emails for, and some they don't. They're taking Google ads, etc. Saying, by the way, this is pretty much going to be over by late May, June. And by then it's going to be spring and summer, and you probably want to live outside on your patio. Most of you are canceling vacations because I don't think everyone's going to immediately jump on planes in June. So if you have a patio and you'd like to organize your patio furniture and just get online with us. You have your measurements. We'll consult with you. We'll show you what we think you want to buy. We'll deliver it and set it up for you. And, blah, 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 blah. And he said, we're doing more business now this year than we did last year. There are a number of consultants I know that are having 30 to 40% year over year income because they've taken their prices down, or they've given people a 5-pay program where normally you had to pay in full, or a 2-pay program, and they're selling more, and they're doing it from a place of, hey, I want to help you guys out. What a great time it is right now. Excuse me. Everyone tells us we should be studying more, reading more, meditating more, whatever. Well, you're not commuting to work anymore, so you got an hour to 2 hours a day. to be reading, to be studying, to be listening to TED Talks, to be going through online programs like my Train the Trainer program that Sunil always pushes and sells to all the students because he knows how valuable it is to have an extra stream of income. And so you can do these kind of things right now. And you can also take what you know and put it out there. One person said, well, I cut hair. I'm not allowed to touch anybody. I can't get in their space. What can I do? And someone suggested to them, what if you go online and do two things? Number one, teach people how to cut their kids' hair at home right now. Teach them how to cut their husband's hair. Talk to them about new hairstyles that might be cool that they could do with themselves. How to wash their hair, how to color their own hair, whatever. So now you're teaching people what you do. They're still going to come back to you. And also, what if you said, because of this, I need to keep my cash flow going, and I want to still have a salon, 3 months from now when this is over. What if I give you a 5 haircut package at a 30% discount? You pay up front now, or you can pay in 3 payments over the next, 3 months, whatever. So now you have the day the doors open again, you've got all these clients lined up to come in and take those appointments, and you've given them a deal, so they want to commit to that to save money, and they also want to support you, so you who they want to work with is still in business when this happens. So you can do things like that as well. One of my friends is a mortgage broker, and she took our Train the Trainer program, and she trains mortgage brokers now in mindset and things like that. And she sent out an email to 500 of her top people that she's been consulting with, talking to. Not all of them were her clients, but people that were hot leads and so forth. And she had 431 of those 500 sign up for the call. And I think 411 showed up, stayed till the end. It was a 90-minute call. She brought on this guy who's an expert in the mortgage world, talking about what's the future of this going to be, how to keep your business open and not lose it. We lost a lot of mortgage brokerage firms during the 2009 crash, and so how do we avoid that in this crash? So you can be doing that kind of thing for your clients as well. There was a restaurant in Vancouver also, who, as soon as this happened, and here's the thing too, how fast can you pivot?
Okay.
I was on some podcast where they were doing polls as they went along. And one of the polls was, are you just sitting waiting to see what happens, or have you actively done anything to change your business? This was like 10 days into this sequester thing. And, or at least for most of us, we were sequestered and locked down. And 73% of the people said no. 27% said yes. One of them was this restaurant owner who, the day it was announced that people were going to have to, shelter in place, he went online and bought 1,000 takeout boxes. He took his menu and he created a one menu, 3 courses, salad or soup or whatever before, and then the main course, and then a dessert. And no choice, no options. If you're a vegan, go somewhere else, because this guy does chicken and fish and whatever. And the first day he did that, in pickup, you had to come and pick it up in your car, and they would hand it to you. You could, wear your gloves or whatever you want to do, your surgical gloves. And he had to pick up, I think it was at 6 o'clock, 6:30, 7, and 7:30. And that was it. And he sold 60 takeout meals that night. Normally, when his restaurant's open, he's lucky if he sells 40 meals. So he's making more money now during this period of time when everyone's not supposed to be moving. You're allowed to go out in your own car.
Sure.
If you're somewhere like to get food or whatever. Sure. And then he was making when he was in normal business. So a lot of ways to switch it around. And I think it's also a time for everyone to study, if you're selling anything, study internet marketing, study how do you enroll people, what are Google ads, I think we're all going to get much better at delivering our services online because we're being forced to. And for some,
trainer and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So the first thing that happened was I got speaking that got canceled. So I was supposed to speak in Florida, and my wife said, "You're not getting on a plane." They said, "We can't bring all these people together in our church where I was supposed to speak." So we did a Zoom call, and originally there were going to be 289 people at the live event. We had 369 people at the Zoom call. We made the Zoom call free to the entire congregation. I'm still going to deliver that live seminar, November 16th or 17th, I think it is. So I basically said, let's push it off to the future where we know it's safe. I'm going to still give you something to keep everyone engaged so they don't want their money back. So they know they're going to basically get this, thing down in the future, because we don't want to be returning, things over in May. I think we're going to have to reschedule those as well. We got a lot of pushback from the hotels for saying, you can't just cancel on us. And, fortunately, our governor came out in California and said, gatherings of 10 or more are illegal. That forced the hotel to let us move things in the future. We have one training we were supposed to do in April. We've moved that into November. And that was a two weeks, 3 months apart training. So the second week, which was in November, is going to be our first week. And we negotiated to take our first week and move that into the first plans for releasing things. One of the things there is that, I'll come back to the staff in a minute, but one of the things we're doing is we're allowing people, like we had a $200 course. We went out to people and said, because of this, we know you're sequestered at home. We know you want to keep growing yourself. We're going to make this $200 course available to you for $47. We sold hundreds and hundreds of those, which brought in, $20,000 that we wouldn't have had otherwise. So we'll continue to do that. Fortunately, we have a number of online classes that we can push out of there. We're developing an online coaching program right now that Patty and I are going to do. We'll probably launch that in about 2 weeks. And we will, have probably be about a $997 program where we'll teach a principal, and then we'll have a guest. We'll teach a principal for an hour, take Q&A. We'll do an expert guest in the middle of the month, and then we'll do Q&A at the end of the month. But they'll have daily, here's what we need you to do to keep alive kind of coming into it. And so we're developing that right now. So we're pivoting to provide value. And with my staff, we've told them, look, if it's necessary that we need to lay somebody off just because of cash flow, you'll still get the 70% unemployment. So you're still there. And as soon as this is over, you're going to come right back in. We're not going to fire anybody, but we may have to furlough somebody for a short period of time. That's not our intention. We want to keep everyone at full tilt boogie. We've got people with young kids, husbands who are not working now, lost their jobs, and so forth. So those are some of the things we're doing. Let me think what else there might be. Oh, we our biggest ticket item is our live train the trainer program, and that's $15,000 for those two-week programs I told you about.
Right.
And we called every single one of them and said, hey, what's going on? How's it going? We know it's a tough time. Our goal is to help you get to where you want to go. It may take you another 6 months beyond what you thought. We don't want you to leave because we need you, quite frankly. And we believe you need us to take your career to the next level. So let's make this a win-win relationship for each of us. And we've only had 3 cancellations, 2 from China, 1 from Vietnam.
Well, let's do a hot seat with me, because I think a lot of people learn, because there are a lot of speakers. And as you may know, we had one of our biggest event that was supposed to happen last week. And that was with Grant Cardone, Kevin Hart, Kevin Harrington, myself, and a few other. We were at the Roy Thompson Hall, 2,400 attendees.
Right.
Ticket prices anywhere from $70 to $15,000, and it was a it's a very high-end event that was happening with Ritz-Carlton the next day and all that stuff. So that we got that. So now we notified everybody that it's been postponed. It's not canceled. It's postponed. Right. All that stuff. So if you, for everybody that's listening, they have an event. They had an event. They had to postpone it. They had to do something like that. What are some of the ideas that you would say? Now, my event is at much. It's a pretty high level, very expensive event, especially this one. But whether you're doing 50 people event or 200 people event or 2,400 people event, in this case, what would you say if we were on a hot seat and you were talking to me, and this at the same time we're training the person who's watching us?
Let me ask our ticket price. How many people had signed up at that level?
28 or 29.
Okay. So, and the promise to them was what?
There's a big package, including they're going to be on the stage for 30 seconds. They're going to have a premium booth. They're going to have a backstage pass with Kevin Hart, photograph with him, and all that. And they're going to have a backstage pass with Grant Cardone. The next day, there's a full paid breakfast, lunch, breaks at the Ritz Carlton. And on Friday, the night before the event, so night before the event, there's a special diamond and speaker only gathering. Then Saturday was the big event, and Sunday was the event where they come in as a diamond, where they have some other privileges, plus sitting in the front and,
Sure,
and
sure, sure.
all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So what I would do is I would basically make sure they're going to get all that the next time, or at least something equivalent. You know, if anyone for any reason can't make it, you can find someone else of equal caliber. But hopefully you find a date where they all can. Secondly, I would give them a taste of all of that between now and then. For example, those 29 people that were going to be in a room brainstorming, masterminding with whoever, I would do that online by Zoom.
Okay.
And give them some, like a couple hours of maybe some hot seat work. Some people break with Zoom now. You can break people into small groups. You could have them do masterminding with each other. They could be interviewing. They could be hot seating with you, with Grant Cardone, talking about 10xing your business. Whatever. So the reality there is, like, you get these people online with you. They don't want to lose their money either. They want to show up, and it's a speaking gig they don't want to lose. So it's an opportunity for them to enroll them into their courses and so on. So as much as possible, have them on one at a time, have them on as a group, provide value to those people between now and whenever you reschedule it. That's the main thing I would do. Engagement's the key. So they feel like because you don't want people coming back saying, I'm getting nothing right now, I can always sign up later if you do it again. You don't want that. You want to keep them engaged now for two reasons. One is you're actually helping them, and you can even frame some of this about how to do it in a coronavirus world,
Yes.
if we're still in that. And the other thing is you're engaging them so they're getting value, so they don't want to ask for it back because they're going to miss out on the value you're giving them now. They could submit Q&A in advance. You have cards that they submit questions. You ask those, say, well, Joan has a question. Her question is, or you could have Joan on Zoom and say, Joan, go ahead and ask your question of Grant or of Kevin or whoever. They're still going to get their pictures taken, things like that. Yes. Maybe there's a book by Grant Cardone, his 10X book. You send a copy of that out to everybody. You get them from Grant for, his published price, whatever, it might be $10 a book. Costs you a little bit, but maybe it's just your VIP or your silver, your platinum, whatever. But as many things as you can do where they feel like they're engaged. There's something, I forget what the exact term is, or mirror neurons or whatever they are, but the idea being that when you give something to somebody, it automatically makes them more willing to give something back to you. So I was on a call that one of my friends was doing this morning, and he's doing the 6-day class of, how to survive the coronavirus with your business. And I was one of his, guests, like I was explaining to you, you can do. And he at the end of it, he said, I'm going to give you 10 free gifts. And they weren't just giveaway. They were really useful things, things that normally he would charge for. And so that kind of things like, well, I don't want to miss out on that. So people feel like they're getting value. You've given them something. They want to make sure you stay in business and keep giving them things in the future.
Awesome. And actually, that's one of the reasons why I'm doing all these interviews where people are getting huge value during these times and giving away some gifts, as you talked about, to members of Private Investment Club, and extending their memberships, for example, because I know we kind of hit a pause. And even though we're going to do online meetings, I've extended the membership, as you're a member of Private Investment Club, which we're really happy to have you as a member of Private.
I like being a member. I was not a great real estate investor in my life. I was always told I should do that.
Yes.
Well, gee, how do I manage it? And I don't want to be an absentee landlord and be one of those creepy people. And I've learned by being at the dinners that you have for the VIPs that there's some really wonderful people. Yes. And they're doing really well, and you can hire people to do the parts you don't like. And anyway, so it's all been good for me.
And we Of course, we're planning to have you in Toronto, as you know.
Yes.
We're just planning to figure out the dates and what happens with coronavirus and all that. We want to bring you back. You've been back. Everybody loves you when you come in, and we got an amazing group of people, as you know. The members of Private Investment Club, they're just awesome, awesome people. And when you show up, they just love your energy and what you do for them.
Oh, I love them as well. Someone once said you can tell the quality of a person by the quality of the people that hang out with them, and you've attracted some really great people. So it's a good on you.
Thank you very much. And as we end, you know our goal, and you've said that before too. You know our goal is to make 100 millionaires for my PIC members, Private Investment Club members, and all that kind of stuff. And you've already given me some advice. But now people are watching during the coronavirus stuff. What does it take to somebody to become a millionaire or multimillionaire? At the end of the day, when I say millionaire, what I mean is wealthy to the point where the money's there for them. And if they made $1 million, that's a starting point. They obviously want to make more. So the question is, what would you say that I should do during these times to make my goal of making 100 millionaires faster?
I think what you're doing right now, in other words, like be of support to people. I do think, as I said, there will be some distressed properties that come on the market. I think that, so if people have been in a situation where they haven't had maybe as much capital as they'd like to, this is an opportunity to perhaps buy some things. It's also an opportunity to spend time while you're sequestered to reach out to people, maybe put together a little real estate investment trust group, where several people can chip in and buy a property where one person wouldn't be able to afford it. You have the time to do that right now. Everyone should have an hour or two extra a day right now that you didn't have before when you were out and about in the world that you're not. Wow. And I think that the main thing, and read, there are so many books that you can read right now on becoming a millionaire, both the mindset as well as the skills of buying properties, flipping properties, holding on to properties, managing properties, being a landlord, whatever it might be that you want to do. If you're going to do it through real estate, which is one of the key ways to do it, there are other ways to do it as well. There you go. Read the Success Principles.
This is one of my favorite books.
Yeah,
that I have.
A new book called the Success Principles Workbook, which is based on that. It's literally dropping out there March 31st. Depending on when you watch this, before or after, doesn't matter. But we write about this time, and we took 17 of the major principles that you have to have, like blocking and tackling in football. How do you throw a pass? How do you catch a pass? These are the core essence of them. And if you just did what's in this book for 17 days or 17 weeks, doesn't matter how long it takes you to get through it, there's 17 principles. While you're, sheltered at home, you can go online, and for the price of about 5 drinks at Starbucks, and you can't go to Starbucks or Tim Hortons right now anyway, the reality is you can buy a copy of this book on Amazon or barnesandnoble.com and take 20 minutes to an hour a day and go through the exercises, because it is like it's a coaching program between the covers of a book.
Right.
And that's I really encourage you to do that. And then if you like that, you can go deeper with one of our live programs. You can learn to be a trainer and so forth and so on. And I'll be talking more about that when we get together. I think we'll probably try to do something in Toronto in October. If that doesn't work, we'll do it in November, whenever. But the point being that if you want to be a millionaire, you first have to commit to that. You have to make that an unwavering, passionate commitment. And one of my friends, Lisa Nichols, says, convenience and commitment do not live on the same block. So, I know you have this get up in the morning club, is it 5:30? Is that what you do? Or 4:30?
It's a 5 a.m. club. I actually wrote about that in the Secret to Wealth with Brian Tracy. It's a 5 a.m. club where you get up at 5 and there are rituals that you do, and you spend about 90 minutes, 60 to 90 minutes on you every day in the morning.
No one has an excuse not to do that now. I mean, when you get up at 5 or 6, I mean, even if, most people don't have to be anywhere at 9 a.m. anymore right now for a while. I mean, there are some people who do have to be online at that time, but the point being, you can find 90 minutes in your life right now to do the kind of things that Sunil was talking about in that 5 a.m. club. And I've been talking to some people that are in that 5 a.m. club with you, and they're all value. They all say, I'm doing better. I'm feeling better. I'm meditating. I'm reading. I'm exercising. I'm breathing air. I'm going outside if you can do that, and most of us can. At
Yes.
5 p.m., there's not too many people you have to social distance from right now.
No.
And so as long as it's not raining, you're in good shape. So the reality is you've got time right now to focus and put your commitment. I am going to be a millionaire by a certain date,
Yes.
make it realistic, but you can do it within a year or two. There's no reason not to, especially in today's world with the internet available, with
Yes.
funding that's available,
Yeah.
with the opportunities that are available. So I encourage everyone to make that commitment and then figure out what is your plan and then do the actions that will actually make that happen. My first mentor was W. Clement Stone, who was a millionaire. It was worth $600 million. And part of that was real estate, part of that was insurance company, and part of that was a publishing company. And he was also an early riser. He read biographies of famous people. Every day he read famous biographies. He learned the principles of how they lived their lives. And he applied what he learned. But he said, vision without action is delusion. And so we have to say, what is the action plan to get me from here to there? And Sunil and the books you're holding up, people are sharing with you action plans,
Yes.
whether real estate or whether it's speaking or coaching or online stuff. There you go, The Secret of Real Estate Wealth. The point is, there's no lack of information. I love what Tony Robbins says, success leaves clues.
Yes.
And Sunil and I have been holding up clues.
Yeah.
We should call these books of clues of how to be rich.
Well, I have to tell you, Jack, your success principle, I have your success principle audiobook as well. And I still have in my car a CD player. And I must have listened to it maybe 20 times in a row, especially when you were coming and last year and all that kind of stuff. I was just listening to it again and again and again. And it's just amazing, the wealth of knowledge, but then I also wanted to download it into me. So then I become it and stuff like that. So I truly appreciate you. I know you have a busy schedule as we started today. I know you have something to do right now. As you guys know, that my goal is to help make 100 millionaires and multimillionaires. And I'd like to give you a gift. And the gift is an audiobook with my good friend, Brian Tracy. And the audiobook is called Make a Million. It's such an appropriate. Brian and I have teamed up. So have Kevin Harrington. We've teamed up to make 100 millionaires. And now we're working with Jack as well. And now to get that audiobook, it's called makeamillion.net. Just go to makeamillion.net. And you get that audiobook absolutely at no cost. I want you guys to know that this is our way to make sure that you get the good news. I know you're listening to the other news, but during these times, please take the time to listen to this, but more importantly, implement some of the ideas. That even if you get one idea from Jack or from myself or any of the other experts, just implement those ideas, work on yourself. And there are huge opportunities when things are not the best. In fact, there are better opportunities sometimes when things are not good. I made more money in real estate after 2009. And that's what it is. So, Jack, thank you very much for being. Is there anything else you would like to say before we finish off?
No, unfortunately, I do have to go. But thank you for the opportunity to share a few ideas with your people and also to hang out with you. And God bless everyone. Stay healthy, stay safe, and then get rich.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.